Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to a higher level best of 5 of StarCraft 2 today. Between in the top left as our red Protoss player playing for team, I don't know what team this is, Classic. And in the bottom right as our blue Zerg player playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Dark. I believe Classic used to be on team Prep, but he doesn't have any clan tag in his name anymore. So I'm not entirely sure if he's still with them or not. He has been leaving and joining teams a little bit in the past few years, I want to say, ever since his return from the military, or so in the past year, perhaps. We'll have to wait and see if he joins a new team. He's going to Katowice, of course, so I'm curious to see how he will perform there. But for now, this is going to be our final match in the Brawlers Cup, in which yesterday we saw Beyond, spoiler alert, take out Australia 3-1, meaning that Australia went 0-3 in the group, Beyond with a 2-1 score. If Classic wins today against Dark, Classic will be first with a 3-0 score total. He took out Beyond, took out Australia. But if Dark wins, I believe that Beyond gets first place. I'm not sure if it's possible for Dark to get first. Maybe if he wins 3-0 is a possibility. But yeah, let's just have a look at these games here. As we see an early block coming out of Classic. And that means that Dark is forced to take, well, this third base right now with a drone in the natural. It's not quite how you want it, usually. Ideally, of course, as a Zerg player, you have that natural base in the natural location. Double link run by is going to get caught as well. So we have more and more chrono boost coming into this Nexus. That means that the first Oracle can't be chrono boosted. And it almost feels like we're heading into a faster third base, in which the first Oracle kind of stays at home to defend that Nexus. That's what it feels like to me, at least right now. I could be incorrect, but I could also be completely correct. Oracle comes here. We have a pylon. That's the third pylon, of course, using it as a spotter here. And the second gate should be thrown down pretty soon, too. There we go. How you want to wall this? Okay, just like that. There's two options here. I could have also... No, actually, this was the only option. Never mind. Yeah, this was the only option you could actually wall. Couldn't put it one further up here, so it is what it is. No early game shenanigans coming out of Dark like we've seen him do against Australia a couple of days back, but instead just a very straight up build order here. Queens already out in the natural. We have 2 queens in the main as well, going up to 6 queens immediately here. As the first Oracle is just being used to take out this Overlord and defend that third base. Oh, I said no early game shenanigans, but then this Road Warren got thrown down. Second gas as well. Now Zerg never wants to get more gases before they have 3 base mineral saturation. So this is just a little bit weird. Problem for Classic is that he isn't scouting yet. He hasn't scouted yet and most likely isn't going to end up scouting the main base because 2 queens will be in position there. The only thing maybe that he can get out of here is the info that he can gather is that there's no workers whatsoever at this third base right now, which is just highly uncommon. It is rare, you could even say. And now these oracles making their way in towards the main base. We'll get the scout here on the Roach Warren. Yes, this is beautiful. Sees the second gas as well. And this is so much information that he just got. I almost would have preferred seeing Stalkers being warped in here. We have no batteries coming down quite yet, but I'm sure we're going to see some batteries, right? This feels like the easiest call in your life. Babylon is a very short map in which creep spreads easily. And we see the queens already more than halfway across the map with that creep. It just requires, what, like 4 creep tumors to go halfway across the map. This queen starts working on these oracles as well. More links coming in right now. As these adepts do not have glaives yet. There is not a single battery. There is no batteries out. Now they're coming down. This was such a clean scout out of Classic. But he just didn't respond. Then why do you scout? If you're not planning on responding anyway, there's really no point to scouting, at least not in my mind. This battery is not going to be done. I think this is chaos. This is awful here. This is hot garbage for Classic right now. He still has a chance. Probably wants to continue building oracles as well, if anything, because the only way you're holding this push is by taking out every single queen. And with the help of a battery, a lot of energy, a lot of oracles, maybe you can do it. Stalkers in the natural are already falling. We're seeing Glaives finishing up in a couple of seconds from now. Where do these biles land? On a battery up here. Classic making a pretty decent hold, at least for now. Super battery gets activated and the biles start raining down, not just on the battery but also on the unit. First few queens are going down. Extra oracles would have been so darn helpful here. Look at this, all of these queens just falling. I think Classic actually might be holding this. I'm somewhat surprised with the ease that he held this. Of course, without transfuses, queens are a lot weaker. The creep didn't quite make it in time. Final queen is also going to be taken out here, as these overlords will get pushed back, and Classic makes a hold, and a pretty darn good one as well. Yes, it was 4 gate with a fast upgrade from the Twilight Council, so pretty much an ideal situation infrastructure-wise. There was no forge being useless. There was no, insanely late 3rd and 4th gate. There was a lot of cash available. There was no 65 probe type of build either. This was a little bit of a probe cut here for Classic, and gets an insanely solid hold here. Question now, of course, is going to be, what is Classic going to follow it up with? Is this going to be Colossi? I believe it should be Disruptors initially. I would much prefer Disruptors here. Huge fan of this forge as well at the same time. We're going into a higher gateway count. And with a higher gateway count, probably the promise of aggression is there kind of in the near future. 59 workers against 49. No fort base yet for Dark. Hasn't even sent over a drone yet. I think personally that Classic can be looking at a fort base already. He can dream about it. And he is indeed a dreamer, because this probe is heading into that general direction. As a Protoss player, if you get your fort base before a Zerg, life usually is pretty darn good. So I think with this information as well confirmed, Dark is not going to be feeling all that happy about his position. Does send out a drone immediately to try and set up his own fort, as we have range upgrades, and most likely, from what I can gather here, we're going to be seeing something along the lines of a Hydra then, maybe into Lurkers, starting with a very high Roach count, just Roach Ravager maybe, and then eventually go, maybe even just Hive first for the Vipers, and then going into Lurker. That seems to be the only path to victory available right now for Dark, but that is a very dangerous path to take as well. It's a rocky path. He is not wearing good shoes. He left his hiking shoes at home. He's wearing his flip-flops because he thought it was going to be a day at the pool, but instead Classic said, no, we're going on a hike on a glacier. And Dark was not prepared. But it's still possible, of course. People have walked Mount Everest with flip-flops. Actually, I'm starting to doubt that claim a little bit now, just that I mention it. I don't think there's many people that have walked Mount Everest on flip-flops. Although there's probably someone that did it for like a YouTube video. I walked Mount Everest with flip-flops, and you won't believe what happened. And then a picture of the flip-flops and a red circle around it. And a surprised face on the side as well. Of the climber in question. Alright. This is just a hard build to hold right now. Swarm host? Okay, this makes no sense. I think Swarm host would have legitimately been in my top 3 units on the number 1 spot of what not to build in a situation where you have no creep on the map, you're playing against someone playing Stalker, Disruptor, and you're trying to make a comeback. Like, none of the characteristics or none of the requirements that need to be met in this game are met by the Swarm host. The Swarm host does not contribute to meeting those requirements. Okay, staying alive, Swarm hosts aren't great at it. Defensively, Swarm hosts actually kind of suck. If you don't have creep, the Swarm hosts aren't going to help you with that either. Swarm host is really an amplifier of the situation often. So if your situation is good, Swarm hosts are good. If your situation is bad, Swarm hosts tend to be even worse. And I guess we're kind of seeing that here. There is a little bit of money for Dark though, and the fight for Classic has been surprisingly poor. Partly due to his lacking micro. He tanked a couple of big Ravager hits. These big biles on his face. Not a fan of that. Locust Wave is going to run out. And once more Classic can move in. 8 Overlord are on the way as well. So the Evo Chamber got taken out before +2 could finish. Not for sure if it started the +2. I think it might have. But I didn't see it. Up, more biles. Look at this. Classic just not microing at all. Kind of surprising. Double Roach is getting taken out there. Hadn't quite finished their morph to the Ravager. Otherwise, that would have been a more costly loss. Look at him. He's just walking into those biles. Disruptor now also just sacrificing his life for ire. This has been a very, very poor game out of Classic. He's up, practically 2 bases at this point. Or at least, 1 base. But he's making it very difficult for himself. He's making it extremely difficult for himself. He could be adding more oracles into the mix as well to add some safety. He could be getting more gateways up to 10, 12. I mean, he has charge on the way as well. He's getting a 5th base. I do like that. But I don't really see a way for him to lose this game. But apparently Classic is seeing a way to lose this game, which is fairly impressive. Lost a bunch of disruptors as well, and disruptors are his lifeline here. The moment you run out of disruptors, you could actually struggle a bit against this type of army. Blinks forward right now as more biles are connecting. I still think Classic is fine, don't get me wrong, but he's really making it very difficult for himself for no apparent reason. Like he's just eating biles for breakfast. Oh no, it was Dark that was eating biles for breakfast and lunch and dinner. That's one of the things you don't really want to eat. It's like eating jalapenos, you know? Eating a jalapeno every now and again is fine, but you eat jalapenos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're spending the next day during lunch, breakfast, and dinner on the toilet because you ate too many jalapenos. And it's the same with biles, you know? You can take one to the face, it's fine. Your battery can heal it, but you take them all the time, there might not be a tomorrow for you, my friend. 188 supply against 169, still without creep, which means that these swarm hosts are useless aggressively. They haven't achieved anything whatsoever yet. Oh my god. More biles are connected. I don't understand how this is possible. But I guess Classic has had enough. Oh! Disruptor barely gets sniped in time, and Stalker just blinked forward because there's only swarm host in the deck. This has been a very weird game, honestly. It felt like Classic should have died in the early game, and then it felt like he should have won extremely easily. He still wins kind of easily, but he made it hard for himself. Swarmos transition out of Dark made very little sense as well. This game in general was very, very odd. Classic ends up winning it, and we'll be heading into our next game. And that brings us to Ancient Sister. What in the world is Dark doing on the minimap? I love that we can see where their cameras are on the minimap, but Dark just started by putting his minimap camera on this base, and then this base. Like, well, buddy, I don't think these are going to be your next row and your third. And then eventually sets up, I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 and 6 counting was a little bit off, but still fine. Or maybe he's actually going to go there. Okay, he actually did go there for a reason. I saw him hover over here as well. I was like, that's a weird location to hover with your camera. But he went there, and most likely gonna be going for a bit of a proxy hatch here. Look at that. Where are you gonna build it, buddy? Where are you gonna build it? Okay, right in front as well. Wow. Hatch first. Fake drone. Ooh, this is a brilliant little fake. This is a brilliant little fake. Send the drone towards the third base. Basically saying, hey, with my drone at the third base, I can pretend that I actually did something there. I can pretend that you shouldn't send this back though. Not in vision of the probe. I don't think so. Needs to sneak it back home. Yeah, good enough, I guess, when it comes to the sneaking. I don't think this probe knows anything. Oh no, there's going to be a Nexus going down right now against a proxy hatch. That is far from ideal. Do you get the scout on this? He built it incorrectly. He built it in the incorrect spot. Dark should have built it 1 hex down. Completely messed up this build order. There's a single pixel off. And now this is going to get scouted. Classic not realizing it yet, though. Hello? Hello? Classic? What? Maybe it's an observer bug? I don't think it is an observer bug. He must be seeing this, right? Okay, now he definitely sees it. Starts a forge. Maybe he believes this is the proper response. I'm not actually sure if this is a proper response. I don't think so. But you're gonna get Stalker into Stargate. Stargate on the high ground? No, there was no second guess. Okay, he had already cancelled that. I missed that. My apologies. It's gonna be Robo instead. So he's gonna play Robo, batteries, and cannons. He's gonna give up his wall. At least that's the only thing that makes any sense. You need some type of tech though, surely. Single gate is not going to provide you with anything of use here. So here come the first cannons. 1. Yeah, he's giving up the wall. He's giving up the wall for now. The problem with giving up the wall is that you need to have a proper wall back here. That is going to become an issue otherwise. Because there can't be a link run by going in towards the main base. So that should be your next task, basically. Stalkers should be helping as well. I'm not quite sure why these Stalkers were so far back. That made no sense. More cannons could be going down. And indeed, that's what we're seeing here. Would love to see a pylon on the high ground, actually. Just completing that full wall. Or allowing yourself to complete that full wall whenever you need. Okay, he's going for a wall here. It's just a complete secondary wall. Oh! No, he messed it up. Yeah, he should be behind it. That makes a lot of sense, actually. He should be behind that wall. Okay, he is behind the wall right now. More batteries, I think, would have been something nice to gather as well. I think... this pylon is vulnerable, though, isn't it? This should have been a cannon on the far edge. Because then it can protect itself. Now it can't protect itself. Baneling's coming in, so it's going to be a one-base Baneling bust. Woo! Okay, who's winning this? God knows, but I don't. God only knows if this Baneling bust works. What's that? It just recalled the 2 probes. Okay, here come the Bane. 1, 2, 3. Force field? Force field. Definitely a force field. Battery goes down. That's painful. That is very painful. But another thing that's painful here is... Well, honestly, I think Classic is just a little bit dead here. There's not enough production. You can only build Zealots here. Yeah, that seems to be it. I hadn't even thought of a Baneling bust after seeing a Forge response. That's actually kind of smart. Sees the Forge response and goes for a Baneling bust. I prefer tech here as well. I said it at the start. I thought this might have still worked, but I think tech is almost a necessity. Dark takes his first win, tying up the series. We'll be going into game number 3. In game number 3, we see no drone out on the map quite yet. And the pattern of the camera seems to be a little bit more normal as well. A little bit... oh, actually, never mind. I saw the camera just go over to the 3rd base. Do you think he camera hotkeys other bases? So for the people that are not aware, there's a thing called a camera hotkey in StarCraft 2. And what it allows you is it's usually on the F keys. It allows you to go to a certain location on the map by pressing a hotkey. It doesn't select anything for you. It just goes to a certain screen. I can quickly show it, as you can also do it in the observer feed, or in the observer feed. So here, this is now my control group 1. This is my control group 2, and this will be 3. And I can quickly, without clicking anywhere else, cycle between these 3. And very often at the start, you see people set up these camera hotkeys. They'll do the first 5, 6, sometimes even 7 first bases that they think they will take. But the last game, I saw Dark move his camera initially into this location, and then he moved it into the location where he ended up proxying his hatcheries. And I wonder if he put camera hotkeys there, or if it was just to see where he wanted to put the hatchery, basically. If he wasn't entirely sure and he had to think about it for a little bit. It was like just looking at the map. It was like, this looks interesting. This looks better, though. And, I mean, it worked out, so I'm not going to be complaining about that at all. Double Overlords going across the map. Huh. Ha 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 ha. Alright, so it's gonna be most likely a scout in towards the main base with the first Overlord, and then the second Overlord probably wants to see what comes out of the gateway. This is the most common way of double Overlord scouting that I've seen. And indeed, we see the first Overlord going in, but it also seems to be going out again, so maybe I'm not completely correct there. Hatchery, of course, done. So we have speed starting here. How fast was that? 209. It's pretty fast. It's not slow, at least. 209 means it's gonna finish at what? 328 speed finishes. That's a pretty decent time. Could be faster, could be slower. Twilight Council is going to be the opener here, and that seems to be a common thing here on the new maps, as the new maps are not great for Stargate openers due to the openness of the 3rd and 4th base often, making a passive type of macro game a little bit harder to play out. Ooh. Probe's going to stay alive, and so will the Ling. Ooh, we have more Lings coming in. This feels a lot like a Ling rush. Is Dark literally just going to Ling all in after proxy hatching? This guy has no chill. Like, legitimately no chill at all. Will he pull the drones? Yeah, he will. Wow. Okay, there go the drones. Queen will stay at home. And this is honestly the best build order beat you can get. If you're a Zerg player, you're playing against a non-Stargate opener with only 2 gateway units quickly. Now, there is 2 more gates on the way. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think these are going to actually, be used very much. Here come the drones. Let's take a look at the first-person response here out of Classic. He's not paying attention. By the time he will be paying attention, I'm pretty sure he will have lost his Adept already. It has so much surface area over here as well. These drones trying to block the follow-up pylon, and they're doing a fantastic job of it. Yeah, this is game. This is absolutely game. Oh no, Classic. Way too slow there in the respawns. And now tries to pull a lot of the workers from the main base as well. We have this warp gate about to finish up. Maybe it's still possible if he gets a warp in here in the wall. But nah, there's already too many links inside. Every single probe is going to end up dying. Even with 4 adepts out right now, it's not going to be enough. GG gets called. Dark wins the next game. In less than, I think, 8 minutes, he manages to win 2 maps and puts himself on match point here in this best of 5. Game number 4 here on Grasvan. Another map at which I think Oracle plays tend to be a little bit more difficult. Look at the open, like how open this fort base is generally. How large the area in between your natural and your third is. How easy it is for Zerg to attack up this area basically. And then you also have a ramp here, you have a ramp here. So there's loads of angles the Zerg can take, and it's all very difficult to defend. We're not seeing a quick scout. I think it's the first game that Classic doesn't opt for the block. He's like, you know what, I've died against 2 all-ins now. I actually kind of want the standard game again. Let me try to achieve that by making sure that I don't block my opponent's natural. And that definitely does end up working out for him. As it's so hard to go for the type of build that Dark did in the past 2 games when your natural isn't blocked, because you have way more info as the Protoss player. Yes, Zerg also has a better eco, but with these strategies, the economy doesn't really matter as much. It's usually limited by larva more so than money. And thus, I don't think... Yeah, I think ideally as a Zerg player, if you want to all-in, you want your natural to get blocked as well. It's a reactionary thing. You get your natural blocked, you can all-in if certain parameters are met. Like if there's no chrono boost on the first gateway unit, for example. That can be a reactionary type of all-in, which is just interesting to keep in mind. Lots of gas mining. Feels like it's going to be a Stargate. Despite me saying that a Stargate is somewhat unlikely, this does feel a lot like a Stargate. We have a cybernetics core going down. No scout whatsoever coming... No, wait. I'm incorrect. There's a scout out of Classic. Of course, it was the gate scout. I was like, there's a hatchery on the map, on the natural, so probably no scout. And then I kind of forgot about what I was talking about the past minute and a half. Happens to the best. Second pylon going down as well as an assimilator here, and we're really looking towards that Stargate. The first adept... I think it's just going to be a single chrono, if even any chrono. A lot of the time when you don't block your opponent's natural, chronoing adept doesn't really achieve a lot, because there's 4 links that can chase the initial adept. Then if there's 2 adepts, it's really easy to just produce 2 more sets of links, and there's no splitting going on. You don't have to pull on any shenanigans out of the hi-hat. It's fairly easy, honestly. It's not that difficult to defend for Zerg. So I'd be very... Ooh, what is this? Okay, he started a Zealot to pretend like he instantly started a unit, but now he goes into the Stalker without a chrono. Same opener as in game number 1. Or at least practically the same opener as in game number 1. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to be as successful as in game number 1. And with the amount of chrono boost that is being used, once again, I'm feeling the initial Oracle is going to be a stay-at-home Oracle. It's not going to be making any money on the other side of the map. It'll just be taking care of the third base. Yes, it might, not get him the promotion as quick to Lieutenant or to Super Oracle or whatever they're called if they get more kills, but they provide safety and caring for their probes and their economy at home, which is also valuable and very often goes undervalued, I think, in society. It's just the ability of oracles to stay at home and not necessarily deal damage, but keep everyone safe. Take care of the young probes. It's very important. This. Oh my god, we're actually gonna get a mirror here, a mirror image of that first game. Same build order for Classic. Very similar build order here for Dark. Has only started a single extra gas, so might still add a third gas, which is what he did earlier. But this is a worse map as well for it, if anything. Of course, the build orders lined up well there for Classic. Yeah, it's just going to be 2 gas. I think it was 3 gas before. So less Ravagers. Slightly more mineral mining. And here come the queens. It's 4 queens. This hits a lot earlier, by the way. I wonder if you just give up your third base and start killing workers on the other side of the map. I kind of think that's what I would do here. You see this move out? There's no way in hell you're holding your third, right? Am I misreading this? Never double up batteries if you're trying to defend, because bios can hit in between and hit both buildings at the same time, which is always bad. No added Oracle production once again. I think this is a mistake. Another battery being added into the line of batteries. Because let's face it, if there's only 4 queens, there's no transfuses available. By the time you get 3 oracles, you have 1 battery. You should be capable of just killing them. I don't understand why we're not seeing it. Instead, it's a Void Ray that's being constructed. I don't mind it entirely. Of course, Void Rays never run out of energy. That bio connected with the oracles here. Okay. Super battery is activated as well as these bios. Well, they're just taking out batteries at a very high pace. Oracles, why aren't they doing very much of anything? They're just hold positioning above nothing, but just batteries to heal anyway. I mean, why not? Here comes the Void Ray soonish as these oracles now run out of energy. There's still 3 stalkers remaining, trying to do their best shooting and moving back, kiting away from these links. And I do believe that perhaps this third base can be saved. I kind of feel like there is potential here. I really do feel like it. Void Ray is burning through these queens as well. There's not enough batteries in the natural. The third might actually just end up falling barely. 3 queens being produced at home, more drones as well in production as Dark realizes that he has achieved his goal of taking out that third base. Interesting defense. I really feel like starting Oracle production the moment you see this is the correct call. He probably would have been capable of having 4 Oracles out, and I think with 4 Oracles, if you have any amount of healing, you're just targeting down these queens at such a high pace. It doesn't seem to be really any downside at all, so... Another thing that you could have done, of course, is cancel the third base, like I mentioned before, and start taking out drones. You just kill like 8-9 drones because there's no queens there. And you have full HP oracles. Like, you can clear a lot of workers. And you can continue building oracles as well in that type of scenario. Easily hold your natural wall at home and then kind of take it from there. I think that also would have been an okay plan, but... Classic decided to go for the plan where he loses his third base. Still not the end of the world. I mean, this upgrade is quite fast. His robo base on the way, but there is a fourth base already coming in for Dark, and that's a real issue. Dark's just going to be playing a heavy melee Link style, and I'm not so sure if Classic has the perfect response to that here. So far, he doesn't. I think Disruptor Blink is not great against heavy melee upgrades, usually. It's nicer to play Disruptors against heavy Roach counts, obviously. But that's not going to be the case here. Double Void Ray trying to go into a position where maybe they can... What? Just take out the Karak. That is needless violence here out of Dark. I wasn't sure who I was cheering for, but now I'm pretty sure it's Classic. Although, I feel like I might be cheering for the loser then, because it isn't looking all that hot. Macro Hatch going down in the main as well. Here comes a push out. Are there enough units out? There's 3 Ravagers for safety. There's 34 links. There's nothing really that can kind of soak up these links. You know, there's no Archons. There's no Zealots. So these links are going to be going ham. They're going to be going pretty darn wild. Disruptor is nice to have, especially given the fact that there is no Glial Reconstitution yet. The road speed is about 50 seconds away from finishing. But I'm just not so sure about all of this, my friends. I'm just not so sure about all of this. Yeah, Fort base on the way, 60 workers against 65. I feel like there's a really powerful timing of 66 workers that Dark can hit. With +1, with road speed, with like 10-12 banelings. Even without baneling speed, I think it might be possible here for Dark to deal significant damage to his opponent. At least get a cancel on the fourth base. I think Dark probably has similar plans, although right now he's adding a couple more drones. You kind of have like the 2 all-in-ish timings, and it's either 66 or 70, 76, 75 drones. I think Dark might be going for the second one. Wanted to wait for the centrifugal hooks, also known as the baneling speed, of course. There's a lot of Disruptors out. But Disruptors against Ling Bane are not that great. Brilliant against Ravagers. Masterful against roaches. Fantastic against hydras. Phenomenal against lurkers. But against Ling Bane, often not the unit you want. Probably prefer having Archons or Storm. Just a lot more effective against them. Against these fast-moving Lings. So hard to hit with your disruptors. Force fields are around. I think we have about, what, 12-ish, maybe 12, 13, 14 force field. But so many Ravagers as well that it's just going to be hard here to get these force fields to stay up. Like, you have an initial wall, but that's going to be it. 79 workers are out right now here for Dark. Takes out these rocks. The 2 Void Rays will scare this army back. That's, of course, a nice little benefit you have with those Void Rays. Same with Oracles. If you go into 3 Oracles initially, it's really difficult to die often. We have to wait and see what's going to happen here. Ooh. What is this? 5th base? No way. Also has some weird way of taking gas. Look at that. It's going up to 6 gas just now. No way he's going into 5 base. 68 workers, 5 base. Alright. It's your funeral, not mine. We have a couple of force fields going down. Actually locking in a lot of these links. Good force fields here out of Classic. Banelings trying to go in from the side. Melee upgrade level 2 hasn't finished yet, which means that they can't one-shot probes. But they still have some potential, of course, in dealing with this crap. Dealing with these probes. Look at this. More and more Banelings rolling in right now. And I don't think that Classic is quite ready for it. Violin is going to get taken out. That means that these probes are also going to get taken out. 27, 29, 32. Melee attack level 2 about to finish up, but I don't think these Banes will wait for it. We'll take out 4 more. That's 35 workers down the drain. And that all of a sudden means that... What? Did he just attack his own queen with a bile? Yes, he did. That means that this attack is now extremely all-in. It's still a lot of supply. There's a bunch of disruptors out, 6 to be exact. And there's no direct counter to the disruptor. There are no Vipers. And boom! Excuse me. What was that blink? Just blinked into +2 links and biles. Lost absolutely everything. I thought that this attack might have still had some potential because there were almost no Banelings, but I don't think so anymore. Just lost so many Stalkers for absolutely nothing. 18 links, 14 roaches on the way. Carapace upgrade coming in. Good enough splits here out of Dark, losing only single Ravagers. Taking a little bit of damage on the Queens as well, but Classic getting absolutely destroyed here. In a mediocre defense against the Queen Wall. Ends up dying pretty much against the follow-up Baneling round by just before +2 hit as well. So a very weird timing to die. And that, my good friends, I think is going to end up being it here. 150 supply against 60. 4 Stalkers are left, and that is all that she wrote right now. GG gets called as Dark wins the series. That means that Beyond ends up getting first place in this group, I believe. Australia in last, and second, I think might be Dark, and third actually Classic. So very unfortunate there for Classic. With 1 loss, what can happen? That is going to be it for me and for the Brawlers Cup as well. I hope you did enjoy these last 6 days of high-level action. If you guys prefer me doing individual games, be sure to let me know in the comments. If you like having some type of structure in it, then I can do this type of stuff in the future. Maybe do like some bracket tournament as well. If I get replays of that, maybe host one of my own. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you, and bye-bye.